the slammer for both of these people?
Well, I'm not going to speak on Adam Schiff, but I will speak about Tish James, that there have been independent reviews of her property and mortgage documents that have not revealed any illegal activity. Her real estate and financial disclosures have been public for years. There are no credible whistleblowers or corroborating evidence, and her documents were reviewed by the New York State Joint Commission on Public Ethics, the Commission on Ethics and Lobbying,
is there ethics in New York State?
and Reuters,
Democrats.
and the New York Times, and ProPublica,
The
and
New York
Snopes,
Times and ProPublica.
and
Well, if
PolitiFact.
Snopes says it must be.
And
They couldn't find
Jason,
anything.
these are
man.
not exculpatory.
So
no,
again, these are
Snopes.
all of these sources. Now, I'm not just saying one. So we're looking at many media
bunch of
sources.
crazy people.
Okay, why did she say her father was her husband?
Government, entities that have all looked at this and they don't see a crime. So
They don't
I'm
sue.
not so sure
That's
where
because
you're
it's
gonna
good to
see
be a
it.
Democrat. Hey, is this your father or your husband? Yes.
And when we
yes. Where do you live in
Well, for
Virginia
some
or New
people,
York?
that's the answer.
We
Yes,
compared,
I
of
live in
course,
Virginia and New York.
to Donald Trump, where he had 200 documents that were falsified.
I think that's been
Weisselberg,
adjudicated. Now we're just
you're
starting
right,
with
it has
Letitia
been
James.
adjudicated,
Yeah.
and he was found to be liable for millions
Civilly,
of dollars.
right. By the way,
and then Alan
get it from his
Weisselberg
$19 million
and Michael
house.
Cohen sued, since you guys seem to trust him all of a sudden.
That's
No, we don't.
the opposite of what everybody here said.
Jason, you're right.
is
This
the
is
guy.
good news for them because Michael Cohen is such a shameless moron. Remember when he was on TikTok and he was had a turkey put on his head because even the people who are dumb enough to follow Michael Cohen on TikTok are putting turkeys on his head. This is the best argument in Tish James and Adam Schiff's defense is that Michael Cohen is saying these things. They should point to that in a court of law and say convicted liar, moron, criminal Michael Cohen says what we did was bad. Therefore, we're probably innocent.
And since the New York Times and Snopes has already looked at it, I'm comfortable.
Did
to
Al
go with
Jazeera
that.
weigh in too?
And
But that's
Reuters
not all.
and
But
Reuters,
ProPublica
office mates
and
with
PolitiFact.
Hamas.
But that's not all. Here's an MS-13 DNC legal analyst, explaining it's an NBC product, how a grand jury can find other potential wrongdoing by a New York attorney general, as you might expect.
Grand jury investigations sweep broadly. They gather terabytes of information, and they're very efficient at going through it. And the problem there for people is that they may be investigating issue number one and then stumble across never before known issue number two when going through all those documents. That is why if somebody is the subject, the target of a grand jury investigation, that is not a good sign.
Now, Virginia, this is why I mockingly say it's good to be a Democrat, because the New York Times fact checks your case, and they clear you, they vindicate you, and then Democrats walk around saying, well, the New York Times vindicated her.
Well, and then it becomes a talking point in the public, and everyone starts saying the same thing, and people say, oh, yeah, it's good. But thankfully, for the rule of law, there will be people looking into this and actually getting to the bottom of it.
And this is the fourth New York State Attorney General in a row who has been accused of a crime. I mean, good for Tish
There is
James
something to be
that
said
it's not
for
a sex
consistency.
crime. Before you had Eric Schneiderman, before that Elliot Spitzer, before that Andrew Cuomo, who's going after your grandmas and your
How many
granddaughters.
crimes Ken